water, earth, fire, air. Long ago, the four elements lived together in harmony. But everything changed when some of these elements were incorporated into the NetEase headquarters, because apparently, the devs took one look at Duo Hunters and thought, you know what this mode needs? Natural disasters! Look guys, Duo Hunters was already a fever dream of chaos before they decided to add Mother Nature into it. Survivors are out here screaming about getting double-teamed, hunters are screaming about their teammates going away from keyboard, and literally everyone is screaming about the ping. The only thing more unstable than the servers is my emotional state after playing 2 matches in a row. And what does NetEase do to fix this mess? Do they address the lag? The balancing? The suffering of our souls? Nah, they said, you know what this game needs? Earthquakes? Infernos? Tornadoes? Let's make Duo Hunters feel like a live reenactment of 2012. At this point, it's not Identity 5 anymore. It's a natural disaster simulator. And if you've been around long enough, you'll remember when the devs decided to make Duo Hunters more elemental. They wanted us to feel like avatars mastering the elements, but instead, we all just became emotional benders. Rage benders, lag benders, device-throwing benders. So in this video, I'm going to revisit those glorious, rage-inducing moments when Duo Hunters went from fun little team mode to emergency disaster simulator. Alright, I really didn't want to explain Duo Hunters again. I've done it before. I've suffered enough. But then I remembered, some of you watching this probably have no idea what Duo Hunters even is. And because I'm a generous soul, or just too nice to watch you be confused, I'll explain it. Briefly. Duo Hunters, also known as Pack Hunter, 2 versus 8, or the fastest way to lose faith in humanity, is a mode in Identity 5 that doubles everything. The hunters, the survivors, and your stress levels. Instead of 1 hunter chasing 4 survivors, we now have 2 hunters chasing 8 survivors. Because apparently, NetEase thought, you know what's fun? Pain. Let's double it. With more players comes more problems. Survivors now need to be knocked down 3 times instead of 2. Cipher decoding takes longer than waiting for Wi-Fi to reconnect, and there are 7 ciphers to finish. Oh, and there are phone booths that hand out random magical items. Basically Dormon's Pocket, but cursed. On paper, adding more survivors sounds like a blast. More people to kite with. More friends to bully a hunter with. Hunters get the same deal. Double the manpower to double team a helpless Helena. Picture it. A flying mermaid and a penguin robot chasing a blind girl vaulting a window at a snail's pace. Truly, peak gaming. But what sounds like teamwork in theory quickly becomes a full-blown social experiment in betrayal. 8 survivors working together? Please. It's more like 8 toddlers in a sandbox, throwing sand at each other while a little girl possesses half of them just to watch the world burn. Complaints are everywhere. No one's rescuing. Everyone's decoding. Why is the little girl dancing instead of saving me? And honestly, they're not wrong. In Duo Hunters, decoding is boring and harassing the hunter is fun, so most survivors go full gangster mode until they realize hunters don't actually die. Then there's the rage quit potential. Every match starts with 1 unlucky soul being chased by 2 hunters at once. Kiting 1 hunter is already a life and death situation. 2 is just bullying. Even top-tier players crumble under that kind of pressure. I once saw a Reddit post where a mid-tier survivor got matched with a top-tier hunter and a smurf, and honestly, that post read like a cry for help. Communication? Absolute chaos. You're getting chased by a Wuchang, you ping for rescue, and your teammates interpret that as stand still and vibe. As someone who spent way too much of my life in Duo Hunters, I can confirm. Miscommunication is basically the 9th survivor. Now, don't think hunters have it easy either. Sure, you're the big, bad, scary killer, but you've got 8 survivors to chase. So, naturally you rely on your teammate. Except your teammate sometimes doesn't even know how to chase a barmaid, let alone a prospector doing parkour across the map. So you end up solo carrying while your partner is off somewhere being friendly with a Frederick. And the worst part? When your hunter partner goes full away from keyboard without warning. You're left chasing 8 survivors alone, unable to surrender because your partner's soul has left the chat. All you can do is pray the survivors are merciful, or that they get bored of bullying you for 30 minutes, which usually wasn't the case. Since there's no ranking system here, Duo Hunters is technically just for fun. For players like me who enjoy suffering in style, this mode is actually pretty fun. For others, it's straight up hell. But remember, Duo Hunters isn't meant to be taken seriously. It's the kind of mode that either gives you a good laugh, or makes you scream fun, but without the N. The absolute worst part? Since this mode doubles the number of players, it also doubles the workload on your device. Double the lag, double the ping spikes, and of course, double the stress because your frame rate is cut in half. Low-key, it's not just a game mode, it's a stress test for your hardware and your sanity. As if players didn't already have enough stress dealing with Duo Hunters, NetEase apparently decided that what this mode really needed was some elemental chaos. And by elemental chaos, I don't mean cute fantasy powers or magical sparkles, I mean tornadoes, infernos, and earthquakes. Basically, NetEase unlocked their inner avatar and said, "Yes, let's unleash the forces of nature on our already traumatized player base. What could possibly go wrong?" So, on the 27th of March 2025, NetEase proudly announced that Duo Hunters would be getting a new feature, Natural Disasters. Along with these disasters came various effects that would impact both survivors and hunters. And because giving it a fancy name makes it sound less like a bad idea, they called it the chaos phenomenon. There are 3 types of disasters in this so-called phenomenon. And yes, you could just watch the promotional video to see them in action. But since this video would be just 3 minutes long if I just told you to do that, I'll go ahead and explain them myself, briefly. So, the chaos phenomenon is a series of environmental effects in Duo Hunters mode that trigger after a match has been going for a while. With this mode, we can't just lose due to skill issues anymore. We also lose because Mother Nature decided to participate. These disasters include an inferno, an earthquake, and a tornado. Each of them is designed to make your already miserable experience somehow worse. Let's start with the inferno. When this happens, certain objects catch fire, and if you interact with them, your character gets the burning status. This makes you run faster, but disables your abilities. Basically, it's like suddenly realizing you need to find a toilet. You run at top speed, but forget to check Google Maps. The funny part? If you're on fire, you can actually extinguish yourself by interacting with another object for a few seconds, which, now that I think about it, sounds like terrible survival advice. The fire lasts for several minutes before the map finally calms down again, leaving you wondering why you thought logging in was a good idea. Next up, we have the tornado, which is just NetEase's way of saying, let's ruin everyone's sense of direction. Once it triggers, powerful winds sweep through the map, periodically changing everyone's movement direction, be it hunters or survivors. During this phase, some mechanics get affected. Tinnitus stops working, survivors leave no footprints, and hunters won't have their red light or terror radius warning. It's chaos. Absolute chaos. For survivors, it means decoding peacefully until suddenly, you're got terror shocked out of nowhere. If you've ever played against the old Dream Witch, you already know the vibe. You're sitting there, decoding with confidence, and then out of nowhere terror shock. I bet some people in post-match chat hopes you to uninstall immediately when that happens. And finally, we have the earthquake. When this phenomenon activates, parts of the map start shaking, causing everyone in the area to stumble and slow down. Survivors hate it because it completely ruins their kiting, but hunters don't have it easy either, especially those without long-range attacks. Along with these disasters, NetEase also added a few new mechanics to enhance the experience, which is just another way to say more chaos added. The phone booths now feature new items, including ravens that hunters can buy to donate points to their duo, and a portable phone booth that lets you purchase items anywhere on the map. Ever since that announcement dropped, players have been calling it out as, well, a disaster about disasters. If you were diligent enough to scroll through the post-announcement threads, you'd see a clear pattern. People immediately knew this was going to be bad. The existing comments ranged from polite essays explaining why the mode needed to be scrapped, to straight up delete this update, it's evil energy. It was less of a discussion and more of a collective prayer circle. But of course, Nettie said, noted, and then did absolutely nothing. The update went live anyway. I got to play it myself, though sadly I don't have many clips of it, probably because I was too busy internally screaming to record. Still, I'm sure many of you who play Duo Hunters regularly got to experience this beautiful nightmare too. Now, do I like the update? Kind of. Like a very hesitant. I guess it's okay, kind of like. On one hand, it added some unpredictability and spice to the mode, but on the other hand, I would prefer to play Duo Hunters normally. Like, you know, without the fear of being flattened by an earthquake mid-kite. Still, when it was around, I tried to make peace with it. Sometimes you just have to accept chaos as your new roommate. I'll admit, the tornado was my favorite. As a survivor main who prefers hiding over kiting, the tornado phase was genuinely thrilling. Not being able to see or predict what's behind me made my adrenaline spike, and the fact that survivors left no footprints basically turned me into a stealthy ninja blending into the shadows. It was tense, and honestly kind of fun. But that's where the fun stopped. I hated the earthquake. My kiting is already a mess, and the earthquake made it look like I was performing a terrible circus instead of running for my life. As for the inferno, well, since I play Doctor a lot in Duo, having my healing ability blocked made me feel about as useful as a broken medkit. Turns out, I wasn't alone in that sentiment. The entire player base seemed to collectively agree that this update was, questionable, to say the least. A few days ago, I revisited Reddit out of morbid curiosity and, oh boy, the comment sections did not disappoint. There were rants, essays, memes, and at least 3 different users declaring chaos phenomenon as a psychological horror experience. Some comments were so harsh, they actually looped back around to being funny. You could feel the pain through the screen, actually. Let's take a little stroll through those comments together, shall we? I'm not exactly sure when it happened, mostly because I didn't keep track of this update like a responsible content creator, but eventually, the elemental disasters were quietly removed from Duo Hunters. And just like that, the mode went back to normal? Well, normal. You know, the same old chaos energy as before, Netties decided to test out their inner avatar powers. In my mind, maybe someone at Netties finally realized that wielding the elements inside Duo Hunters was, in fact, not a very good thing. It was a mistake. Sure, some players found it fun, but a lot of us agreed that it would have been better as a separate mode. I mean, the game already separates Tarot into original and powered-up versions, and even Copycat got split into 2 modes. So if that's possible, why didn't Netties just make Duo Hunters? Natural Disaster Edition? Maybe they just wanted to test it out. See how the community would react? And then quietly back away once they realized everyone was crying in the corner. That's just my theory, though. There's no official reason why the chaos phenomenon was finally removed. At least, not one that I know of. Then again, maybe I just missed something because, like I said, I didn't exactly follow the news about that update. So if any of you actually remember when or why it was removed, feel free to drop it in the comments. Enlighten us all, please. Either way, the natural phenomenon update is gone now, like, permanently. As far as we know. No more earthquakes shaking our screens, no more tornadoes yeeting us across the map, and no more infernos frying our abilities like overcooked eggs. I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of a relief, but also kinda sad. Maybe it's nostalgia talking, but part of me does miss the chaos. But who knows? Maybe one day Netties will bring the natural disasters back. And if they do, would you guys welcome them like old friends? Or would you immediately shove them back into the digital abyss? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks a lot for watching as always, and I'll see you next time. Hopefully for some more updates, because apparently lore analysis takes forever. And real life has been body slamming my upload schedule. Anyway, see you next time, guys.